Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So today it's a new CGC 9.8 market update video where we'll have a look at some prices and completed sales in the CGC 9.8. And we just did a video yesterday talking about the comic book market and the possibility of kind of like a comic book market bubble. And there were some awesome comments, I think, on by the team, and just some great insights and good perspective by the team. I wanted to say that. And this video will kind of add a little more context to that with some prices. But if you are actively buying CGC 9.8s, one of the best things you can do is just get more pricing information and know the fair market value for the 9.8 that you might want, and way less of a chance you'll ever overpay. And that's kind of what these videos are all about, just getting more kind of up-to-date pricing information out there in the CGC 9.8. So yeah, let's get right into a full list here. There's 24 CGC 9.8s to talk about, so let's not waste too much time here. First one on the list is a Venom number 3, the third printing too. So the wanted third printing, pretty low printing on this one as well. First full appearance of Null, great cover I think too by it's JP Mayer and Ryan Stegman teaming up on this one. But price is coming down on this one. I really want to keep an eye on it because we'll talk about some of the history, but one selling for $455 and another one for $466.05. So, just in the, let's call it 3-4 months ago, this one was getting over $800 in the CGC 9.8. And at that time, I was kind of recommending, you want to be patient on this one. This is a modern book. It's a cool one. It's low printed, absolutely, but a modern one that just is really spiking up in prices. So you want to be patient. Now, was 800. Now it's 455, 466.05, getting into possibly a buyable zone. Yeah, this one is low printed and first, big full appearance of Null. Null's one of the really popular modern villains, absolutely, with a lot of potential. So I think maybe, personally with me, I want to be maybe a little bit more patient. I think this one could kind of settle right around 400. Where, maybe if you get a really good deal, you get it for under 400, and I'm talking, in a year or two from now or something like that. So that will sort of be my target price, I think. But yeah, two selling, 455 and 466.05, and the wanted Venom 3 third print in the CGC 9.8 white pages. Saw a first print sell as well, and on eBay, seen a first print just in the last couple days here sell for $279.99. What made me kind of think of this one, because I saw an Instagram post about a week or two ago, and I was looking for it this morning, but I couldn't find it. I don't know who it was from, I forget. But one of these had sold for, it was like $205 or something like that. And it looked like it was an auction, so I don't know if it was eBay or Comic Link or what, but yeah, this first print coming down in price, and this one at its peak was kind of 400, maybe even a little bit over there for, maybe a month. I wanted to be patient then, and I think right around, sort of the 200 to 225 is the level that makes sense to me. That sort of is where first Bane in the 9.8 used to be. It used to be about 200 to 225 for years and years and years after that Dark Knight Rises movie, and then it really cooled down to about 225. That's what I thought would happen with Null, the first printing. So $279.99, not seeing one on eBay sell sort of near the 200, but I did see that Instagram post. I'm assuming it was probably accurate. So Venom number 3, the first print, right around 200 to 225 if you want this one, is making a lot more sense now. Interesting here, I got a Teen Titans 12 in the first print that had sold. A non-foil, saw this one selling on eBay, just doing a little research this morning, for $565. And I had mentioned this one heated right up with the Venom books, the Venom number 3 Null books. This is the first full appearance of the Batman Who Laughs, and the first full appearance of Null, the other books, so these are kind of neck and neck, the most popular modern villains, I would say. So for Teen Titans 12 in the first print, I always kind of recommended this one over the Null books. It's a little bit more of a rare 9.8. It's got a really nice low CGC 9.8 ratio, kind of right around 30%, which is nice and low for a book that had just come out in the last couple of years. So one sold for $565 in the Teen Titans number 12. I did sort of allude to back then that I think this one could kind of hold its value a little bit better than Venom number 3, the third print, and the first print even, because The 9.8 ratio, it's a little bit more rare. Yeah, in the 9.8, the relative rarity is better in Teen Titans 12, much better. So I think it is holding its value a little bit better right now at 565. It was right at 800, neck and neck with Null about 4 months ago. Now I think holding its value a little bit better than Venom number 3 third print. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I have one of the Teen Titans 12s in the 9.8. And I'd really start to think about buying another one maybe around 450, 475 if they ever get to that level again. But one going for 565. And this is the first print kind of non-foil version of Teen Titans number 12. And Ultimate Fallout number 4, seeing a couple of these sell in the first print in auctions too. So one went for $1,009 and $1,025. So in the first print, this is the first appearance of Miles Morales, new Spider-Man, Ultimate Fallout 4. A couple people kind of getting to me on the team that they're grabbing some a little bit under 1,000, and we had documented some that had went for kind of like 930 and even a little bit under 900. A few of them sneak in there for occasionally. So you know, these probably maybe near the little bit of the higher end of fair market value, but right now this first Miles Morales book is kind of holding its value pretty good from that initial spike up. Yeah, I guess, you know, maybe if you get a pretty good deal closer to 900 in Ultimate Fallout number 4 in the CGC 9.8 first printing. A couple Avengers Annuals number 10s had sold. This is the first appearance of Rogue. Pretty, like, a lot going on the cover. It's kind of a love it or hate it cover. Like, some people I hear really like it, some people don't. But an interesting one in the 9.8. That's pretty rare in the 9.8. Two of them selling in auctions. One for $802 and another for $889. This is one that has really heated up with the X-Men coming back to the MCU speculation, like them thinking that Rogue's probably going to look pretty cool in the MCU. Because, yeah, certainly in the last 6 to 12 months, this one has came from like $500 to $802, $889 now in auctions in the 9.8. So it's come a long way, but, you know, first appearance of a big X-Men there, so you can kind of understand it. And so if you want this one, you know, maybe a bit of a bidding war kind of broke out with these a little bit. I would aim for a bit closer to 700 for this one. Avengers Annual, number 10, CGC 9.8 right now. First Rogue, hopefully closer to 700, but a couple going over for 800, 802, and 889. Next one, a really great X-Men 9.8 that I've certainly mentioned and kind of recommended in the past. An Uncanny X-Men number 129 in the 9.8. Saw this one sell in an auction. This is like the first Kitty Pryde. And great cover. It's first Emma Frost and Sebastian Shaw, I believe, too. So you get a couple villains in there and Kitty Pryde. Rare in the 9.8, and that's why this one's pretty expensive. It went for $1,646 in an auction in the CGC 9.8. Yeah, this is a really rare one, and I think with the market heating up here in the last 6 to 12 months, this one is heating up too. I was sort of used to them going for like $1,250. You know, when I got into things about 2-3 years ago when I started buying CGC 9.8s, now $1,646 in an auction. So heating up a little bit, a rare single digiter in the 9.8, the 9.8 ratio. So I think it's like of all graded copies, it's like 9% or 8% are CGC 9.8. So pretty nice rare one. And that's why I went for $1,646. Interesting to see one of these sell in an auction. It was the Batman Beyond Special Origin issue. And this is basically a one-off, like they don't call it like the number one. So this Origin issue went in an auction, and I thought this was kind of expensive, is my thinking, but went for $366. And kind of, you know, from a more popular seller, I think this is one, the Batman Beyond, like the number one issue in the UPC code is, you know, one I really recommended like a year ago when I first started the channel, but it's really expensive now. It's getting some selling for around $1,500 in the 9.8. So this one's a good alternative. $366 in an auction for this Origin issue. This one's not the Six Flags version. Like there's a bunch of different versions of this one, kind of. You know, if you're serious about your Batman Beyond, I do kind of prefer the number one UPC first print, cover. That's much more collected. It's more expensive. I'd probably, you know, take this $366 and probably just try to buy a raw Batman Beyond number one in the normal UPC code version, first print. But around 366, even this one, I sort of thought you can get closer to 300. I think this is maybe a bit of an overpay, a bit of bidding war possibly breaking out on this one. But one sold for 366. Yeah, the Batman Beyond Special Origin issue in the 9.8. Next one, a New Mutants 98. Yeah, huge book in the 9.8. Seeing an auction in this one. And yeah, I think a lot of these auctions were kind of from a pretty popular seller. And I think they're all sort of near the higher end of fair market value because a bunch of them are from this one seller. But New Mutants 98 in an auction, looking really good, had sold for, what was it, $990. Yeah, in the direct version, $990, almost $1,000 for this one right now. First appearance of Deadpool in this one. Yeah, big, huge early 90s key. One had also sold for $849 on some of the eBay completed listings. It was in an old case, but that kind of gives, I think that's kind of the range right now, sort of $850 to, what was it, $990 in the direct. Some of the newsstands, there was one that had went in the newsstand for right around $1,000, but it was really off-centered. Half of the newsstand barcode is kind of curled around the back of the thing, so I'm not sure if, and that was a little bit before. I'm kind of interested to see, the point being a newsstand in a newsstand, New Mutants 98 CGC 9.8 kind of go in an auction right now because the newsstands are so hot. But in the direct, $849 and $990 in the CGC 9.8 too selling. All right, next one here, an Amazing Spider-Man number 316. So I brought one of mine out. I got two of these in the 9.8. Yeah, just one of my favorite McFarlane covers and kind of the first Venom cover, although he's on the cover before that, like before this one, his little face, but this is pretty much the first Venom cover. One of these sold in the direct edition too for $670. So this is a bit of the sign of the times with a lot of people anticipating this Venom 2 movie is going to be pretty cool with Venom and Carnage. $670, like to give you an idea, I bought mine about I got two of them about a year ago and they were right around like $275. Yeah, and I think one was maybe $280 or something like that. So to go from that to $670, you know, even 6 to 12 months ago, the newsstands used to go for about $550, and now some of these newsstands, people are asking like $2,000 or something on eBay right now because the newsstands are heating up so much. So that kind of, and I mentioned that on our argument for the bubble, is some of these newsstand prices that I'm seeing are just crazy in the 9.8. But this one even heating up in the direct as well. $670 is, I think, near the higher end of fair value. You might want to be patient on this one. Everything Venom and symbiotes is so hot right now. So you want to be patient, wait for the lower end of fair market value, maybe even wait 6 to 12 months after this Venom 2 movie next year. And I think you might get a better price on an Amazing Spider-Man 316 in the 9.8. Great book, though. Like, one I just love and wish I had more of, to be honest. All right, next one, Ultimate Fallout number 4, the second printing. Yeah, I saw this a little bit after. I probably should have put it with the first printing when we talked about that one. But this one, selling in an auction for $255. The second printing. This one heated up quite a lot. It was right around 400, maybe even somewhat over when, you know, Miles Morales really picked up there about 4 months ago, maybe it was. This one now, $255 in an auction. I've saw them, I think we documented one or two of them in the last couple weeks here that had went closer to 200. So I think this is kind of the range, yeah, 200 to maybe 275 for this one. It's a good one, yeah, I like this one. The second print where you could kind of see his face better, and yeah, hopefully closer to 200 I think for this one is doable in the CGC 9.8. And yeah, one I'd kind of recommend to get in here on a pullback around 200 probably. Yeah, I have one of these in the CGC 9.8, the second printing. But one did sell for $255. Next one's a cool one that probably should be talking about more. It's a .1, number 1, the first appearance of Sam Alexander, the new Nova, pretty much. Really cool action cover. Like, I like these covers with a lot going on, a lot of colors. Spider-Man's on the cover too, so really cool collectible cover. This book for a modern, I think, has kind of come a long way, and there certainly is some rumors out there that Nova might, you know, come to the MCU and they might make a Nova movie. I think that would be pretty cool, to be honest. So yeah, this one has heated up. Two selling though for $184.49 and $187.49, the other one. So these were both in auctions too. This is one I do remember it's selling for about $100 for like a year or two. And I kind of like the cover and, you know, first new Nova, kind of cool. Sort of noticed it, but never bought one. Now it's, you know, almost 200, 187, 184. You know, maybe be a little bit patient here, but this is probably still one you can, if you can get it closer to 150. I think this is still one to possibly grab in the 9.8, especially if you're a Nova fan. Because yeah, I think that would be really cool if the MCU made a Nova movie, and there does seem to be some rumors that that's going to happen. So who knows what'll happen there, but. Next one is really interesting to see. A Batman 567 in the 9.8 newsstand version, though. In the newsstand, yeah. Occasionally I see these pop up for like, usually it's like $500 or $600 or best offer. So people are, you know, trying to get some good coin for this one. This one in an auction, though. So I was interested to see what happened. Ended at $404.31. So the direct version, non-newsstand version, is about like $175 to $200, let's call it. $175 to $200. So, yeah, maybe a little bit under. I think one auction went for like 162 or something like that. So that's for the non-direct. So the newsstand is more than double, 404.31 in an auction. Pretty rare newsstands. This is a 1999 book, I'm pretty sure. I was watching this one and just, I mean, I have one in the normal edition, and this was kind of tempting, but I knew it would probably be around 400, maybe even more. 404.31 though for Batman 567 newsstand in the CGC 9.8. Next one's one I have, and I was kind of interested to see this one. Miles Morales SpiderMan #1, the animation variant. So you got Miles Morales kind of into the Spider-Verse on the cover. I do have this one in the CGC 9.8. I was buying this when, kind of sort of around when I bought my Ultimate Fallout 4, so the Miles books were kind of lulling, and I grabbed mine for $100. And one had went in an auction just, I think it ended yesterday, for $235.50. So this was one that I bought at 100, thinking that once the Into the Spider-Verse 2 rumors heat up, it's going to be a lot more. Like, this is just a cool looking cover. And yeah, I think that's exactly what happened pretty much. And I'm still hanging on to mine, and you know, I think it could maybe even go higher once the Into the Spider-Verse 2 movie actually does come out, but I just really like this cover. I'll probably just hold this one for the long term. Really cool Miles Morales Into the Spider-Verse cover, kind of the first Into the Spider-Verse Miles Morales cover probably. Next one here, a huge key of the moment. Interesting to kind of see it right now at Star Wars 42 with the Mandalorian like just being released on Friday. This one had kind of ended in an auction like a day or two later. Ended right flat at $1,500. Yeah, interesting. This is one, yeah, it's heated up. I think that's kind of the higher end of the fair market value, I would say right now. I think we documented one where it was like $1,280 or something like that. So with Mandalorian coming out, I think you just want to be patient on this one, probably for a couple months, maybe even a little bit, yeah, maybe 6 to 12 months, let's say. I think you could see a little bit lower prices in this one, hopefully near like that 1,200. It's still going to be an expensive book because The Mandalorian is just so popular, but 1,500. I have this one in the 9.8. I paid it was like $390, and that was like 2 years ago. For $390, now it's $1,500 selling for. Yeah, it's come a long way, so I think you want to be patient with a lot of promo right now, and I never really recommend to kind of get out there when there's like a new movie or a hot movie and, you know, stirring up a lot of new demand for it. Usually the prices are much higher in this one. That's definitely the case, I think. Interesting one, an X-Men #4 here. I talked about this one on our overrated video, and just one where I just see a lot of them, and there's quite a lot in the 9.8, and it's heated up quite a bit since I've followed this one. But in an auction, though, seeing one go for a fair price, I think, right now. Absolutely. A $142.50. Yeah, if you want this one, that's like a really good fair price, because I think some of them are going for like $175-ish. So, yeah, if you do like this cover, if you're a big Jim Lee fan, you're really nostalgic for this one, I don't blame you for wanting it. Absolutely. Right around $142.50 is a good fair value when selling in an auction. Next one, Wolverine #1, the first patch. It's a pretty cool collectible one, absolutely. In an auction, seeing one go for $222.50. Yeah, if you're a Wolverine fan, I know a lot of people on the team have kind of sent me pictures of them getting this one. This is a really collectible one. $222.50. Yeah, I think that's right around fair. Maybe you got it closer to $200 if you're super lucky. They used to go for under 200 6 to 12 months ago, but much like everything, it's heated up a little bit. Next one's an interesting one I saw sell, kind of a cool one. The Transformers Universe #1. So this Transformers Universe book, it's sort of like just shows what all the Transformers are, sort of their names and everything. Like, it's not really like a story or anything. A bit of like an encyclopedia of Transformers almost. In the 9.8 white pages, saw one sell in an auction, and I was watching it, and it was kind of interesting, thinking about maybe bidding. But 117.66. That's kind of a cool under-followed, under-the-radar one if you're a Transformers fan, I think. Yeah, Transformers Universe #1 for 117.66. I think that's a price target to aim for if you want that one. Yeah, next one, I brought out mine that I just recently purchased, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 101. The variant, retailer incentive variant, I guess it is. So this is the first appearance of Lita and Mona Lisa. And you're probably getting it more for the first appearance of Lita, who's the new kid Ninja Turtle. And she's on the cover here, right here on the bottom. She's kind of like an albino kid Ninja Turtle. This one going in an auction for $335.08. Yeah, I think like there was one got pretty excited about this one myself and made a video about it. And there was one that had went, I think it was a little over 400 in an auction, and that was just too much. And I really kind of recommended like wait for at least around 300, I think, with this one. So this one probably still has a little bit of cooling off to do. Right around kind of 280, 290 is kind of making a lot more sense because, yeah, first new Kid Ninja Turtle Lita is probably going to be a pretty good one to have over time. And they seem to be running with her in the story, and this being kind of the more rare variant with her on the cover. It's already very well collected. Yeah, a lot, like right from the beginning, a lot of 9.8s popping up, like a lot of people wanting to get this one graded and collect it. So 335.08 one sold for. Hopefully get it under 300. Yeah, a little bit more patience, I think, on this one will do you well. Next one, Dark Knight's Death Metal #1. A pretty cool modern, I gotta say. Yeah, the first King Robin, I guess it is. So in the first print, I want to talk about kind of the pretty easy to find first print in the 9.8. Went in an auction for $56. And yeah, I think that's a pretty decent price to aim for in this one in the first print if you're a big fan of this one. And I haven't got around to reading this one yet, so I do want to, because I'm a big fan of Dark Knight's Metal, where they introduced the Batman Who Laughs and all the Dark Knights. So, in the first print, the more rarer variant is well collected as well, and that I think kind of goes for like 200 to 250 in the 9.8. But the first print's kind of a cool cover too for $56 in the 9.8. I think is kind of a cool modern maybe in the 9.8 if you're right into the modern books. Next one I saw sell, an Alpha Flight #1 in the CGC 9.8. Yeah, some of these maybe seem to heat up, but it's interesting just seeing a range of prices here with two of them selling. One sold for $150, and then another one sold in an auction though for $214.50. So maybe a bit of a bidding war breaking out, and I think some people are maybe speculating a bit that Alpha Flight might be in the MCU in some form or fashion. Alpha Flight books have kind of heated up with the market here in the last 6 to 12 months. So $150 though, I think is a bit of a throwback deal kind of price, and it was in a buy it now from a seller that kind of seemed to be throwing up a lot of books right around like the low end of fair market value. I saw a couple of them on the completed listings from the same seller. So hopefully you get this one still right around or under 200 for a really good looking copy. Someone got one for $150 though just in the last week here. Yeah, Alpha Flight #1 in the CGC 9.8. Next one here is an Uncanny X-Men 244. Yeah, this is the first appearance of Jubilee. This one has heated up quite a bit for a lot of those same kind of X-Men speculation reasons. $185 in the 9.8. I think this one was from that same seller that was kind of putting up decent books right around like a pretty good fair price. This one I'm seeing kind of flirt with 200, and I think really nice looking ones in the 9.8. If a bit of a bidding war breaks out, they go for a little bit over 200 right now. So $185, a pretty great deal for first Jubilee. And this is one to definitely consider right around that price. I like this one. I don't have it actually, but one you kind of want to be picky on, I think, as far as centering and things like that. So Yeah, just for me, it seems like every one I could possibly get, maybe the centering doesn't look that good, so it never kind of compels me to bid, but a great one. Yeah, First Jubilee, Uncanny X-Men 244, going for $185. That's a decent one, I think. All right, next one I wanted to mention is the Kanan, The Last Padawan, #1. Because I mentioned on one of our videos that we did just recently that I ended up picking up one of these, and it was almost, you know, like half of me wanting this book, because I do, and then another half of just like a really opportunistic buy, I thought, because I was able to grab one for a $177.50 in the CGC 9.8. Yeah, Kanan, The Last Padawan #1 in the first print. And a lot of the, like, basically like 6 months ago, some of these had went for over $300 in the 9.8. Like, everyone was speculating about Sabine Wren being in the next Mandalorian season. And I think there's a bit of a let off from that. But interesting, I had purchased this one at $177.50 pretty much like, I think it was Tuesday. So Mandalorian was supposed to come out Friday, and I think, you know, people were just a little bit let down with a lot of, you know, the blogs that I were kind of reading saying that, you know, it's probably going to be like a made up, a new brand new kind of character. A lot of these spy shots of like Sasha Banks and stuff like that. To be honest, I never watched either first or second season of Mandalorian. So, but Kanan, The Last Padawan #1 is super collectible. It's been going for around $300. So I jumped in there at $177.50. And I wanted to get something to compare this to, but I hadn't really seen any completed listings sort of in the last few days here, which I thought was really odd actually, in Kanan, The Last Padawan #1 CGC 9.8 to compare this to. So I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. You know, does it go again over 200? Because $177.50 I think was the lowest price that I've seen in this book. There was an auction about a month or two ago that went around $209, and I think there was another auction that was like $225 not too long ago. The second printing too, I think a bit kind of cooling off. It looks the same, but it's got a black background, and I think it's a little bit less printed as well. But even that one, I saw a completed listing for $201.50. And there was one I think that went for $275 as well. Like, there seems to be more of the second prints that have sold since The Mandalorian came out. And they seem to be selling kind of that $275 to $300, but even the second print getting down to $201.50. So this one's cooling off, and it might be that lull that you need to kind of get in there and buy if you want it. And I sort of thought that and grabbed one myself at $177.50 for a Kanan, The Last Padawan #1 in the 9.8. So second to last one here, two more to go. An Uncanny X-Men 256. Yeah, this is one I've sort of recommended as an alternative in that overlooked, or what was it? The video that I did, overrated ones. Yeah, that's what it was. The overrated video. Uncanny X-Men 256, first new Psylocke. Really cool Jim Lee Mandarin cover with the new Psylocke on the cover. In an auction, went for $133.63. That's a pretty decent price. You know, I remember these about a year ago going for less than $100. So this issue has come, you know, quite a bit of ways with just everything X-Men kind of heating up, I think. But this is a cool collector item. Right around that price, I think, is pretty much the fair value right now. Yeah, $133.63 if you want this one. Uncanny X-Men 256, first new Psylocke. All right, last one that I saw sell in an auction too. This one, there's not a lot of these. An X-Men 24. Yeah, the classic Gambit and Rogue kissing cover. I really like this one. I did recommend it on a video. I think we talked about like possible movies that could happen and, you know, books you could buy for pretty cheap to speculate. And this was one of them for me. Yeah, I think I sort of mentioned the fair value was probably, you know, around $125, maybe closer to $100 if you're lucky. So this one in an auction selling for $116. Yeah, I think that's a really good price right now. This is a cool one to have that I think you can enjoy, even if they don't come out with a movie with Gambit and Rogue kissing. Right around $116. Yeah, again, not a lot of these in the 9.8. It's kind of a non-key, but since the cover's so cool, it's very collectible. So I like this one. And right around $116 in the 9.8. Like if one popped up in Canada for $116 with like $20 shipping, I would probably insta-buy it in this one. Yeah, a really great cover of the era, I think, for an X-Men book. Okay, that's the full list. 24 CGC 9.8s talked about there. I'll have the list in the description with the prices if you just want a quick resource. But yeah, always sweet to go over some of these prices. And I think the CGC 9, like a lot of these auctions and things ending in the last week, or just in the last couple days here even. And I think it's safe to say, like, the prices are still pretty hot. Like, there's certainly not a plunge or any type of correction, I don't think, really. In the Venom 3 books, we started off there. I think definitely there has been in certain issues that were really hot. When there's a lot of promo for something in a certain time, a lot of times that promo will go away and the issues cool off. So there's some examples of that, but still, the overall market is still pretty hot, and some of these 9.8 prices really surprise me still, but yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what happens moving forward here. Okay, thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, I would invite you to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8. Yeah, I would love to have you on our comic book collecting and comic book investing team. Hit the bell for all the latest notifications. Add me on Instagram and Twitter as well. All the links in the description below. But always feels great to get through a bunch of prices and to know some of the current prices and how the market's doing. And again, if you're actively buying comics, the best thing you can do is just really get more information and know the fair market value. Use Go Collect, use these videos, use GPA, whatever you want, and get a good idea of the fair market value before you buy, and less of a chance you'll overpay, which is always a good thing. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. Just really appreciate all the support and loving the comments again. Yeah, I wanted to mention that at the beginning because I'm loving the comments on our last video about the bubble. Just some insightful stuff from the team. So message me on Instagram too if you wanted to send me any questions at all. But thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you on the next one.